Faith UCC. I think that was your reminder to fall back next week. That's what I think that was. Thank you, choir.
Public service announcement.
Yeah, only Faith UCC would sing about it, though. That's. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I wonder if you'll join me in our call to worship on this celebration of All Saints, special Sunday here at Faith UCC. We remember, O God,
the beloved of history, who have blazed a trail of courage through time.
We remember, O God,
the tender touch of loved ones, the example of heroes, the healing words of comforters, the remarkable acts of fearless ones.
We remember, O God,
the gentle strength of grandfathers and grandmothers, the loyalty of friends, the kindness of strangers, the joy of children, the sacrifice of parents.
We remember, O God,
the love of Jesus, the blessing of His Spirit, the reminder of His words, the sharing of His suffering, and the glory of the new life He embodies.
we remember in every time and place all of our loved ones that have gone before us, all who were saints to us, all whom we held as beloved, and all who live on in our hearts.
Let us come together in this time with peace in our hearts, confident that our loved ones that have taken the journey as His death are all around us in this very moment. Let us remember the saints of our own lives.
I wonder if you'll rise up in body or spirit and join me in a song that we only sing once a year for all the saints. Oh, please be seated. That's like old style church going on in this place with that organ humming. Wow. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Faith United Church of Christ, my friends. A special welcome to any visitors that we have with us this day. We are delighted that you have chosen to come out and be with us this Sunday morning. The same goes for those of you online. Thanks for joining us this morning. A very special welcome to all who are visiting with us for the first time. If you're in person, we have a friendship book, which we're now keeping on the round table out in the gathering space. So you can write your information there so we can get you on our newsletter list and keep you apprised of all the happenings going on around here. And there is a ton going on, as you're going to hear. And if you're online with us, just send an email to faithucc at office@faithucc.org, and we will get you on that list as well. Is it next week? Next week's Annie DeShant. Yeah. Wow. Annie DeShant is going to be here. I gave you a little sampling of her last week with that awesome Change video. Hopefully she'll sing that for us next Sunday. You can still get tickets to this concert. It's going to be right after our service here. It's going to be kind of a brunch style, so there's tickets at the door you can buy today, and you can also buy them at the door. We're going to try and get her to do a little something during the service too. So if you maybe weren't planning to stay, she may just kind of twist your arm a bit with her awesome musical style. So you may want to be like, hey, I got to stick around and see that. So plan on having some fun next week with Ann E. DeShant right here at Faith UCC. Casey, next slide. We're having clicker issues again. It's a perpetual clicker issue. I don't know what the deal is. There's going to be a short HEP meeting today following our service in the south. What do we call it? The South Wing. It's going to be in the South Wing back there. Dan's going to lead it, so if you're interested in finding out some new things about HEP, sounds like some good news, go ahead and head to the South Wing right after our service. I'm going to stop talking now because we've got some big announcements, and look who's back with us today. Fran is back, and I see Anna Jane back as well. Welcome back.
Thank you, Mike. You have no idea how good it is to be here. So, thank you. Yeah, just 2.5 weeks out from having hip replacement, and I see Anna Jane in the back. She's 2 weeks tomorrow out. Our bylaws indicate that the congregation should get 2 weeks' notice before a congregational meeting, and so this is your notice. On November 13th, we're going to have a brief congregational meeting right after the service. We have 2 items that'll be on the agenda, and there'll be more about this in this week's newsletter, so be sure to read that. But the first is a proposal to change the bylaws. The leadership team is asking that we make 3 changes to the bylaws. The first one is that we change the name of the congregational life leader to be the core team leader. That more accurately reflects what that position does. And then we're proposing that that we not have a membership leader, that's the 4th position on the leadership team right now, but instead have a congregational care leader. And that person will be in charge of all of the groups that do cards and letters and food and visitation and all the ways that we care for our congregation. So we'll still have 4 members on the leadership team. There'll be the moderator, the financial leader, Betty Mann, and then a congregational care leader and a core team leader. So that's one thing that will be on the agenda for that change. The second thing is we have a neighbor. What direction is that? The neighbor that way. Yes, we're all directionally challenged. The neighbor that lives that way has asked if he can buy a tiny little piece of our land, which is 24 feet by 50 feet. And he's offered us $7,500 for that piece of land. So we have some discussion to have. One, are we interested in selling this small parcel? 2, is $7,500 a fair offer? Here we are loving our neighbor. Would a land swap make more sense? One of the things that he wants to do is make his border more even, and Betty Mann has figured out that if we give him that section and move, and he give us the rest of the line back there, there'll be a picture in the newsletter that it might be an even swap. So we have to, so we need to discuss that, whether or not we're interested in making any changes in our land. So for those two reasons, we'll be having a brief congregational meeting after the service on November 13th. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Fran. It's great to see you here again, have you back with us, and Anna Jane as well. Yeah, I think we need to ask for at least $100,000 for that land. I mean, that's just me personally. But how bad do you want it, you know? How bad do you want that land? Come on up for a Annam Carrot Tea Party announcement. It's a tea party.
Is my hat on straight? Good morning. Good morning. Faith UCC's Annam Cara Women's Circle would like to invite all women to our 4th annual tea with a twist. The date is Saturday, November 12th, starting at 3 p.m. And in addition to fabulous tea sandwiches and desserts, and maybe a glass of sherry, we have special entertainment for you this year. Our own Fat Chance belly dancer, Debbie Dunbar. Yes, you heard me right, Fat Chance belly dancer, will be doing an interactive belly dance demonstration. Won't that be fun? Yeah. Please sign up after the church service to reserve your space. If you have any questions, please see me or Leslie. Thank you. Oh, and hats are optional, but a lot of fun.
Thank you, Marge. We have one more special announcement by Carl Vom Eigen about racial justice.
Good morning. Yes, it was the pinnacle event, I think, for our country relative to race relationships back in the murder of George Floyd. And the energy and passion of this congregation rose up to say, what is going to be our response? How do we deal with the issues that still exist in this country over racism? So a core team, well, I should say that really there was a listening process at the beginning, and we were led by Lee Harrington, and Fran was part of that too, and we got together people's ideas. We generated a lot of thoughts and had a lot of plans, a number of pages long about all the things we wanted to hope to do, and then something like called a pandemic. Yeah, kind of slowed us down, and we did certainly accomplish a few things that we're very proud of, particularly our Rosa Parks bench and our butterfly garden, and other things that we've been able to do, and conversations that were begun with a film and a video in the sanctuary here that we had discussion around issues too, and other ways that we've tried to get that message out through signage and other ways through the church building. But it's time for us to recharge the group and invite others to join us in the journey. And so it's going to be real easy to remember, November 7th at 7. November 7th at 7. Because it'll be a wonderful way to turn off the TV before the election the next day. So we'll be here. We'll meet in the gathering space here at 7 o'clock on when? Yeah, very good. At 7. You're good. And we will provide Zoom because we do have members of the core team that are living elsewhere until they return to us in the wonderful winter weather we have here. So hope you'll join us on that November 7th at 7. Thank you.
Is there an election coming up? I hadn't even heard. November 7th at 7. You heard it here. Hey, I want to lift up a couple of pastoral care concerns. Hold Jenny Van Scoyak in your hearts and prayers. Jenny is just in more and more pain these days and seems more and more frail. So hold Jenny in your hearts and prayers. She's such a sweet person, and she wants to be here, but it's just too hard to get here. So hold Jenny Van Scoyak in your hearts and prayers. Hold Mama Liz again in your hearts and prayers as she's having more and more harder days than there are good days. So hold her and her family in your hearts and prayers, and continue to hold out the Stiers family, especially Chuck's brother, Tom, in your hearts and prayers, but also Chuck and Pam as they support Tom in his end-of-life time. So A couple folks to hold in prayer. Do we have any other concerns you'd like to lift up? And Joanna has a microphone, and it'd be really great for our online community if we always spoke into the microphone so that they can hear what's being said. Any other concerns? Oh, Linda over here. Joanna will come to you here, Linda. There you go.
Thanks. Rick and Marguerite Curtis are friends who come here. Is it not on? Rick and Marguerite Curtis, who are our friends that live in Vermont most of the year and come down to Dunedin during the winter time. They're having some struggles right now.
Absolutely. Any other concerns you'd like to lift up for this praying community? Oh, we're a friend over on the other side over here. Yeah, Mike's coming to you. And welcome. Glad to have you here.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. I just lost a friend, and I also have some friends that are not feeling very well. If you could also pray for them and lift them up as well.
Absolutely. Any names you want to share?
Lynn, and Vinny, and Ashley, and also his name was Big Man. We were friends online, so I didn't get his real name, but he passed.
Glad you're with us, though, today. Welcome. Hey, Elizabeth.
Prayers for my baby sister, Teresa. She has early onset Alzheimer's, and we found out she got sick when she was 58, and she's 62 now. And because it's vascular, she is not doing well physically at all. So we're counting.
Absolutely. Hold her in our hearts and prayers, and you as well, Elizabeth. Any other concerns you'd like to lift up this day? Another concern over there, Joanne.
I want to thank Ginny for inviting us this morning. My little sister has battled cancer 3 times, and now she's battling leukemia. So please raise her up. She is such a faithful servant of our Lord that she come through this like she did the last 3 times. Too many of our friends are having health problems, financial problems, and it's becoming overwhelming. So please give me patience and wisdom to know how to help them. Thank you.
What is your sister's name?
Lynn.
Hold Lynn in our hearts and prayers. Absolutely. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, and you as well. Other concerns you'd like to lift up?
Our manager, Lenora at my McDonald's, her son ended up in a hospital. I don't know his name and didn't get a lot of information, but just say prayers for Lenora and her family. Thank you.
Prayers for Lenora and her family, absolutely. Hey, Joyce, you want to celebrate this day? This day? Oh, we got a Joy. Rosemary's got a Joy over there. Joanne, your work is not done. She's awesome. Let's give a hand to Joanne for running around this congregation.
This may not sound like a joy, but it truly is. And I might choke up. It's been quite a month for me, but I'm so glad to be here with all of you wonderful people. And thank you for all your heartwarming condolences sent to me for my brother Pete, who passed away a week ago. And I'm just also so grateful for the brother that I lost, because he was a super wonderful, down-to-earth guy who showed a lot of caring for people throughout his whole life. Never went to church in years, but he was truly a saint. And the tributes coming in, my own included, but of course mine are much longer than the other people, but it's just been a celebration of my brother's life, and also I can't even talk, and as you can see, I'm choking up. But I'm so glad to be here with everybody in person. That's been another long time for me, not being able to come. So thank you for being such wonderful, caring people here, and thank you for my brother Pete. And I got his picture in the video today. But anyway, thank you, everybody.
You bet, Rosemary. We love you. We're glad you're back with us here, and we sit with you in your pain of losing a brother. You know how that goes. Peace be with you. Are there joys you want to raise up this day? Yeah, Wendy.
I just wanted to raise up the fact that my brother and my sister-in-law are here, and they're back here. Really
Welcome. That is a joy. Don's got a joy in the back. Welcome, my friends.
I don't know if it's going to count as joy, but my oldest son just turned 10 on Thursday.
Hey.
A couple months ago, he was here and he was so inspired by the Dunedin Cares. You know, the service that they have that when we celebrate his birthday on November 5th, he set up a in lieu of presents to donate. So I just wanted to let you guys know how you inspired him.
Wait.
Where is my microphone?
Do you really need one?
Well, I have to. I'm not that loud. Okay. Good morning. This is just a gentle reminder that the clothing drive and toiletry items is coming up 2 weeks from today on Sunday, November 13th. The list is in the newsletter, and if you have not seen it, I do have paper copies. And I forgot to tell you, when you do come in on the 13th, please put your wares in the south wing. Thank you. Oh, one more item. For those of you who are online who cannot physically get here, if you reach out to me through my email or my phone number, I will do everything that is physically possible to come and pick up your items.
That's dedication, Nat. Thank you. Awesome. I got a joy to share. My wonderful wife she's at home recovering from a full day of band yesterday. It went late in the night, but I know she's online, of course, watching, and it's our 22nd anniversary this week. So I just want to say, I love you, babe, and happy anniversary. Let's just have a moment here. Let's absorb some of what these concerns, maybe take them into our hearts, and of course the joys as well. Let's just hold those who are struggling this day, mind and body or spirit, in just a strong spirit of prayer and hope for their well-being, for their wholeness, for their restoration. And let's just take a couple deep centering breaths as well in this time and breathe in a sense of peace. Present moment. You breathe out, remind yourself that it is indeed, it's a sacred moment. And a beautiful moment. And it's so good just to be here together. Let's journey ever deeper into our worship service with a beautiful video. This is a stunning one from the work of the people based on Ezekiel's vision of the valley of the dry bones, a good theme for us on this All Saints Sunday.
The Lord took hold of me, and I was carried away by the Spirit of the Lord to a valley filled with bones. He led me all around among the bones that covered the valley floor. They were scattered everywhere across the ground and were completely dried out. Then he asked me, "Son of man, can these bones become living people again?" "O sovereign Lord," I replied, "you alone know the answer to that." Then he said to me, "Speak a prophetic message to these bones and say, 'Dry bones, listen to the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Look, I am going to put breath into you and make you live again. I will put flesh and muscles on you and cover you with skin. I will put breath into you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. So I spoke this message, just as he told me. Suddenly, as I spoke, there was a rattling noise all across the valley. The bones of each body came together and attached themselves as complete skeletons. Then as I watched, muscles and flesh formed over the bones. The skin formed to cover their bodies, but they still had no breath in them. Then he said to me, "Speak a prophetic message to the winds, Son of Man. Speak a prophetic message and say, this is what the Sovereign Lord says. Come, O breath from the four winds. Breathe into these dead bodies so they may live again." So I spoke the message as he commanded me, and breath came into their bodies. They all came to life and stood up on their feet, a great army. Then he said to me, "Son of man, these bones represent the people of Israel. They are saying, we have become old, dry bones. All hope is gone. Our nation is finished. Therefore prophesy to them and say, this is what the Sovereign Lord says. O my people, I will open your graves of exile and cause you to rise again. Then I will bring you back to the land of Israel. When this happens, O my people, you will know that I am the Lord. I will put my spirit in you, and you will live again, and return home to your own land. Then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken, and I have done what I said. Yes, the Lord has spoken.
I understand I have to move the mic up a little bit. Is that good? Okay. Our first reading today comes from the strange book of Daniel, chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. At that time, Michael, the great prince, the protector of your people, shall arise. There shall be a time of anguish, such as has never occurred since nations first came into existence. But at that time, your people shall be delivered, every one who is found written in the book. Many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the sky, and those who lead many to righteousness, like the stars forever and ever, shall increase. Our second reading comes today from Paul and his letter to the people of Corinth. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 51 through 55. Listen, I will tell you a mystery. We will not all die, but we will all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. For this perishable body must put on imperishability, and this mortal body must put on immortality. When this perishable body puts on imperishability, and this mortal body puts on immortality, then the saying that is written will be fulfilled. Death has been swallowed up in victory. Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting?
That was a reading. Just owned that one. You said I put strange in the intro to that. You said if you said that at your Church of North, you'd be shot. Not here. We can call scriptural things strange because they often are. Yeah, you got that right. Well, let's see what our teleprompter does with us today, shall we? Here we go. So I wonder how many of you keep a bucket list, a list of things you want to do and experience in your life before you are called up to so-called the big leagues. I'm guessing many of you do, right? Some bucket list things. Maybe you want to share one or two? Quick bucket list thing? Yeah?
I want to go to Australia.
Australia, bucket list, absolutely. Any other bucket list things? Yeah?
I had the honor of going to Jerusalem with a Jewish delegation in Ohio. And,
nice.
My bucket list is to get Anita there sometime.
Awesome. It's a great bucket list thing. Yeah?
Celebrate an anniversary in Key West.
Celebrate an anniversary in Key West.
My bucket list is to visit the most deprived places on the face of earth.
All right. All right. The most deprived places on the face of the earth. That's a specific bucket list thing. Absolutely. Any other bucket list things? Yeah.
There's a hot air balloon that goes out to the surface and get very warm.
Ooh. That's bucket list. That's bucket list material. No doubt. I've got a couple. Oh, go ahead, Sandy.
To go on a hot air balloon ride.
Hot air balloon ride. There you go. Good bucket list things. I got a few. One of mine was to become a pastor and lead a great church. How about that? I got it. Check. Another one was to find my soulmate and spend the rest of my life with her. Check. I had to say that's our anniversary, as I said earlier. So I'd love to win the Masters. I mean, go to the Masters. I'm not so sure about that one. I'd like to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl. Better luck with the Masters, right? I'd love to climb Mount Everest. I better start with a small hill here in Florida, huh? Okay, in all seriousness, I brought that up because I really do have a bucket list. And one big experience that I just long to have is to go spend a few days in Mexico at what is known as Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, right? Oh, yeah. It's really actually 3 days of the dead. Did you know that? It's a multi-day fiesta-style celebration that's purpose is to celebrate those loved ones that have passed on to the other side, who are continuing their journeys in a new and transformed way. It's a celebration to invite their spirits back to be with their families during this feast. This awesome celebration has its origins amongst the indigenous people of Mexico, who, beginning tomorrow on Halloween and then going through Wednesday, will build colorful altars, and they'll bake ceremonial foods, and they'll dress up in the most colorful of costumes, and they'll throw lavish parties, and they'll feast together, all in remembrance of the beloved ones that have departed this world before them. They do so with the hope that those spirits have come back. They have come back to join them, even for a short time, and even just to share a meal. Take a look at some of these beautiful decorated altars dedicated to loved ones. Some are like really small shoebox size, and some are massive and complex displays of love, yet yeah, they're all just really colorful and celebratory of the life whose loss they are lamenting and whose spirit they are hoping will be drawn back, even if just for a short time. I love this celebration, and I long to be a part of it someday. I want to invite you into this experience in these lavish, colorful celebrations of departed loved ones, because I see this in this ancient ceremonial practice that goes back to, in some estimations, to 3000 BCE, long time ago. I see it as a deeply meaningful and powerfully hopeful way to engage the death process, the one thing that touches us all in one way or another. What's that old expression? There are only two certainties in life, and what are they? They're death and taxes, right? Death will strike us by taking ones we love and eventually enveloping our own lives in a time of transition as well. Yet, in the Day of the Dead celebrations, I see so much hope manifest. The hope that we will commune with our loved ones again. The hope that we will experience their spirits and their presence in our lives. And the hope that we will experience their spirits again when we pass on, when we take that journey and deeper into the God in whom we live and move and share our being. So celebrations like this, they instill in me the confidence that death is just a transition. That's what it is. Death is just a doorway. It's like a second womb experience, in a sense. I mean, who remembers being born? Anybody here? Anybody want to fess up to that one? That's on my bucket list. I want to remember being born. I don't know what Freud would say about that, but... So in a sense, death is a doorway. Again, it's a second womb experience on the human journey as we leave this one life and enter into the realm of another. There's no fretting in these awesome celebrations, although the Catholic missionaries tried once upon a time to instill as best they could notions into this celebration, notions of heaven and hell, and punishment, reward, and comfort and misery. They tried, but at their core, this celebration is still practiced with those ancient nuances. They simply and beautifully reflect the journey that we are all on. As Jim Morrison so powerfully said, we live, we die, but death not ends it. Today's service is about remembering our loved ones, our saints that have passed on into new life, yet it is also a day to examine how our own tradition sees death and the afterlife. Now, unfortunately, so many of us as Christians have been conditioned to experience death only through the lens of Christian theology. And that's kind of like a Pavlovian system of rewards and punishments, right? Or being saved and being damned, and the afterlife is kind of dangled in front of us like a prize to be awarded for assenting to the right beliefs or living the right kind of life as laid out within our changing religious tradition. If we do these things, we will be saved. We will see our loved ones again in this next life that we have earned. If we do not do those things right, according to whoever's making the powers, we risk swimming in the rivers of fire for all eternity and will never be saved. What is that? And I'll argue, I'm going to say something controversial here.
Shocker.
That salvation is the greatest crime and sin ever perpetuated on humanity.
Yes.
Wow! This idea of us needing salvation has robbed death of its depth and stripped it of any notion of being an intimate part of our human journey. As strange as that kind of sounds to say, it's about power by a narrow, controlling church. It's about aligning people's lives and beliefs by those who think they know the will of God and who have the power to back up that claim. It's, I think a better way of putting it, it's just complete and utter garbage. And it's time we threw this ghastly idea into the theological garbage heap. And really, folks, think about it. I mean, okay, let's stop for a moment and think about it. Humanity has been in a stage that scientists label Homo sapien on Earth for about 200,000 years. That's what they say. The church and its notion of salvation is necessary for the experience of an afterlife has only been around for about 1,600 years. So think about that. I'd take my shoes off and do the math on that. It's 198,400 years, give or take, that people lived and died. They lived and they died, and they did so when there was no original sin to save them from. There was no church to judge them. There was no Jesus Christ who takes away the sins of the world. There were no last judgments, no merits for the afterlife, no rules, just life and the journey of death that we all take. Do you ever ask yourself, as I do anytime I encounter a theological assertion, how do we get here? In this case, how did our death experience come to be filtered through the lens of Christian theology, through sin and salvation, through Jesus Christ, the only path to heaven? Well, it's actually really, as most theological things, really easily traceable throughout history. I want to give you a little run. For starters, we need to go way back into ancient cultures, such as the Egyptian culture. They had this idea that when one died, they had to travel to the underworld, and they had to face trials and gatekeepers in order to reach the god Osiris, and in front of whom they would plead their case for entry into the afterlife. Can you imagine that one? First, they stood in front of what was known as the 42 divine judges. That's part one. So you got to pass that test first. And then part two involved a weighing of the heart against what you told the judges. The heart being the record of all one did in their lifetime. If the scale's balanced, check, you're in. You get your granted eternity and you're good to go into what was called the field of rushes, where life resumed pretty much as it had before you died. Just kind of go on again. Those who didn't pass the test, though, well, they fell into the hands of demons and they received their eternal torment. Sound familiar? How about the Greeks? For the Greeks, their earliest history, they had, of course, many gods and goddesses, and one of them was named Hades. You've heard of Hades, right? Yeah, he was a brother of Zeus and Poseidon. Hades was the god of the underworld, where all mortals went when they died. Everybody went to Hades. That's just what you did. Cross the river Styx, right? Go to Hades. Hades was just kind of a place to hang out for all, wander around. What do you do down there? Just wander around for eternity? It's a gloomy place, probably like detention for a high schooler or something like that. Forever, you know? Well, this Greek civilization developed, though, you know, so did the afterlife and their concept of it. It dawned on the Greeks that, you know, not everybody, especially the greats and the heroes, not everybody should have to go dwell down there in that detention center that's Hades. So the concept of the Elysian Fields was originated. That was a place where the rich and the famous go. the philosophers, the athletes, the powerful, the Kardashians, I don't know. Life was great in the Elysian fields. That's where you wanted to be. Where, according to Homer, life is easiest for the men. I don't know what that means for women. Really, women don't get into the Elysian fields. And according to Hesiod, they lived in the Elysian fields untouched by sorrow. I don't know if I'd want to spend eternity with the Kardashians. I'm not so sure about that one. Judaism, which obviously Christianity emerged out of, had no real concrete beliefs in the afterlife. The Pharisees believed in the general resurrection of the dead to come, and the Sadducees did not. They did not believe that. Some Talmudic sects of Judaism, however, did believe in what they called the world to come, where the righteous enjoy a lavish eternal existence according to how they lived their lives. Others, those who did not live so righteously, not looking at anybody in particular, well, they descended to a place called Gehenna, which I know you've heard of, where for a period not to exceed 12 months they are punished. Now, why 12 months? And after the 12 months, they assume their place in the world to come. And only the ultra-wicked are punished the whole 12 months. You might only get 6 months of punishment if you didn't do too many bad things. But the really wicked are punished for the whole 12 months. And then their souls are either destroyed or they live on in a state of remorse. As far as the Bible goes, the first ever reference to resurrection or to the final judgment and afterlife comes from that Daniel book, reading that we just heard. Daniel is a strange apocalyptic book. It was written somewhere between the 6th century BCE and the 2nd century. So I wanted to throw that in for context. Now, as Christianity emerged out of this milieu and preached a strong message of general resurrection, eternal life for those who believed in Jesus Christ until around the 10th or 11th century, the Common Era, when in the misery of the Middle Ages, judgment really took hold and took center stage. Purgatory entered the scene. Yeah, you've all heard of purgatory, right? And one's life after death experience was squarely at the mercy of an increasingly powerful religious structure and its rules, the Roman Catholic Church. Hell, for the first time, became really, really real and really, really awful. Well, finally, I would be remiss not to mention him today, as this is technically Reformation Sunday as well. Things began to change as Martin Luther nailed his 95 thesis. I'm not going to do this 95 times, though. 95 thesis to the church door at Wittenberg. Now, Luther struggled all his life as a priest with judgment and hell. He could not wrap his mind around it. It kept him up at night, and finally he had enough. His breaking point came when a certain man named Johann Tetzel came to his town selling indulgences. You heard of those? Yeah. A monetary payment that could lessen one's time in purgatory for a loved one and curry favor with God to get them into eternal life. Who came up with that? The Catholic Church did to fund St. Peter's. That's who. That's historical. And you know what Tetzel's line was? You've heard me say it before. A coin in the coffer rings, a soul from purgatory springs. Coin in the coffer rings, a soul from purgatory springs. That was Tetzel's line that set Luther on a tangent. And the poor handed over their coins that could have fed their families. They handed them over to save their tormented loved ones who were sitting for eternity in this place called purgatory. With Luther, then it all changed, and we Protestants sitting here live our lives under his idea of sola fide, which means by faith alone. I wanted you to hear that little Cliff Notes version of history, because like all theological assertions about God, they have a history to them. They were created by humanity. And it's been filtered through the lenses of experiences of various cultures and times, one strongly influencing and building on and borrowing from and adapting from another. These experiences all culminate right here with us today in this church as we still live our lives under that ancient religious paradigm. The death experience for us is still being filtered through this history, and any kind of life after death experience is still held captive to that paradigm, even as we try to run from it. And I think that is hugely unfortunate to our spiritual journeys and the transformation that awaits us when we ultimately journey into death, as many of our loved ones have done before us. Now, I chose Paul's words about death today because I have a love-hate relationship with them when it comes to death and what awaits us afterwards. I think Paul got himself a little caught up in the glories of resurrection hysteria as he inked this letter to the community at Corinth, as he believed Jesus' second coming was literally immediately upon him in his time. So we take him with a grain of salt here. But I still think he was on to something. I always say he was either on something or on to something. I think this time he was really on to something. But how about the first part? I'm going to take into the hate part first. What I don't like about that text. I've suffered a lot of loss. Many of you have as well, you know. I've lost, in the last just few years, I've lost a dad, lost a sister, she's 49 years old, lost an awesome father-in-law. You know, I know many of you can relate, right? You've lost. I mean, my sister was 49 years old, you know, vibrant spirit, died from cancer just way too young a few short years ago. And I can tell you, and most of you know this from your own experiences with death, that death freaking stings, right? It stings. It sucks. It stings and it wounds and it cuts deep into our humanity, and it alters the core of who we are as human beings when we lose. It really does. So where's death's sting? Paul asks. Well, I'll tell you where. Paul. It's in every moment that you hear your deceased beloved's favorite songs. It's right there. You know, it's when the quiet memory then of them slips into your mind when you're daydreaming, you know? It's when families get together for the first time after death and someone is missing. It's those first holidays. Oh, those milestones, right? It's those special days that you used to share together. So, oh, death, where is your sting? It lives in the heart of each moment. It really does. It sucks. It's real, and it's there, and it's raw. Death stings. How can it not? But if you stay with this text, you stay with it for just a little while, you begin to see something else in what Paul is saying. He's actually quoting the prophet Hosea with his words, and he's talking about restoration, in this case of Israel, in a really dark time of death and misery, that out of death comes the reality of something new. Paul calls it a mystery. He calls it change. He calls it transformation. He says, let me tell you a mystery. You will not die. We will not die, but we will be changed. We will not die, but we will be changed. His language gets a little flowery, and he is a theological person of his own time, but add those words to his other words about how we live and we move and we share our being in God, and you begin to see that he was taking a radically new and strangely progressive step out of the religious beliefs around death in his time. In fact, Paul never once, anywhere mentions the word hell. It's not a part of his theology. He only speaks of death as life transformed. He speaks of how now we see dimly, but someday we will see clearly. He knows we don't have the answer of life after death, and he knows that death hurts, yet he stands confident that when we die, we will be transformed. And when we die into this mystery that we call God. And that is nothing short of breathtaking. That's what he's saying. That's what we need to be proclaiming today, my friends. That's what we need to be proclaiming, that the old paradigm of sin and salvation and reward and punishment is just no longer useful or meaningful. The death and the what's next is much deeper of an experience than our religions have ever allowed us to dream. In fact, when people ask me, this uber progressive theologian, do I believe in life after death? I answer them, absolutely. Absolutely. They're usually really shocked, but I say absolutely. Yet it's nothing like we've been told. I believe it more akin to author Henry Miller does when he wrote Of course, you don't die. Nobody dies. Death doesn't exist. You only reach a new level of vision, a new realm of consciousness, a new unknown world. I love that. I believe in death like our Native American friend White Eagle wrote, "You live on earth only a few short years, which you call an incarnation, and then you leave your body like an outworn dress and go for refreshment in your true home in the spirit." Like that one? I believe in the afterlife like Khalil Gibran wrote when he said, "When the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance." The earth shall claim your limbs, and you shall truly dance. And finally, I believe in the afterlife. I believe in the afterlife. That energy, and in particular the animating spirit that each of us have, that is unique and it's never going to be destroyed. Yet it does live on to dance and to reconnect as it more fully merges into the God in which we live and move and share our being together. And I guess that's why this Day of the Dead celebration strikes me so deeply, and why I want to go and experience it, because in it I see the path to letting go of the theological baggage around the death and dying experience, and just opening ourselves to the trust that this is just a natural part of the journey in life, that we will all take this journey at some point, that there is nothing to fear. And finally, that our loved ones that have taken a journey into death before us, they're okay. They're okay. They're okay. Transformed in spirit, dwelling more deeply in the God experience, and still connected to us in ways that we just can't remotely understand in this time. So I guess for me, I cannot and need not say I believe anything more than this. And I think I can even begin to say with Paul, "Oh, death, where is your sting?" I invite you now to close your eyes. Just breathe for a moment. Bring to center the saints of your own lives that have journeyed into death ahead of you, loved ones, friends, treasured pets. There's one calling right now. Beloveds, soulmates, oh God, children, oh. Hold them there for a moment. Just hold them. See them smile at you, greet you. Trust that they are waiting for you to welcome you home someday, to guide you on your journey. Let us always trust that we are surrounded by those we dared to love and lost, but only for a time. Breathe them in. And now let's let the choir remind us of that. While images of your saints play overhead, we are surrounded. Let us never forget that, and may that bring us a deep sense of peace. Amen. That was worth the price of admission. I want to thank our choir. They put in extra hard work and time on Thursday night to stretch that song out so we could accomplish, so we could get in the over 90-something photos that you all sent in. So thank you. What a moving moment. Yeah. Agree with that. With warm memories of our loved ones that have passed. You okay over there? With warm loved ones of with warm memories. Oh my God, I'm losing it. Of our loved ones that have passed, centered in our hearts and minds and our spirits. Let us journey into a moment of stillness and prayer, centering ourselves in the Spirit of God in which they have now become a part of. They are now a part of, in which we all live and move and share our being within. Let us journey into a moment of silent prayer or meditation together. Oh, as we gently return our quiet minds back to the realm of words on this day of remembrance, we do so with a range of emotions among us: grief and happiness, joy, anxiety, fear, so many other emotions present within. Let us just hold space for what we are feeling, confident that truly eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor heart imagined the mystery of our departed loved ones that they swim within, and that awaits our own spirits as we join them someday. May the presence of God that is already a part of us give us calm in these times, as well as in our struggles in mind and body and spirit. Let us also this day embrace what is good and beautiful in this world, in gratitude, smiles and love and friendship and family and oceans and sunshine, and so much more. Let us hold these things while we also hold space for what is not so good in this world, in terms of the injustice and division and poverty and destruction, the pain in the world. Let us be both thankful for this world and for children, yet eager to engage it when things are out of harmony and balance. May we always hold those who are struggling in our world in a hope that transcends the realities around us. Today is a beautiful day, oh God. May we live it to the fullest and meet it with courage, confidence, and joy. I wonder if you'll join me now in praying together a beautiful interpretation of that ancient prayer that Jesus taught us to pray long ago. The words are on the screen. O breathing life, your name shines everywhere. Release the space, plant your presence here. Envision your I can now. Embody your desire in every life and form. Grow us to us this moment's bread and wisdom. Untie the knots of failure binding us as we release the strands we hold of others' faults. Help us not forget our source, yet free us from not being in the present. From you arises every vision, power, and song, from gathering to gathering. Amen. May our future actions grow from here. Amen. I love that. May our future actions grow from here, from the source of that prayer. Oh, it was a heavy service, wasn't it? Well, I should have warned you all to bring Kleenex today. Bring tissues. Hey, I just always, as we close out our service, just want to say thank you for your incredible generosity, whether it's all the time you put in singing or doing other things or bringing food over, or whether it's your financial contributions, which are amazing. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for all you give to this place. If you are visiting with us, or you're just a regular member and you're like, I got all this cash in my pocket, I need to do something with it. We got plates on the back table for you. And if you're online with us saying the same thing, hit it. Maybe you won the Powerball last night and you want to make a donation. You can go with, no one won? Oh, it means I didn't win. Dang it, I didn't check yet. You can go right to our website, faithucc.org, and click on the Give link and go from there. What does that make it now? It's going to be over $1 billion, isn't it? Is it already over $1 billion? Ah, jeez. Isn't that crazy? Someone will buy a ticket and win $1 billion. This blows the mind. And yet I do it every single time. Like a Pavlovian dog. I run out to Publix and buy my ticket. Tell you. I wish you, my friends, an awesome week this week. Hold your saints today in your hearts and your minds. Ruminate on all that's good in the world, and bring those faces, those countenances before you that you've loved, that you have taken a chance, as a great poem says, and loved and lost. Hold them in your hearts, and know that you'll be united again someday. I firmly believe that. Don't ask me how; it doesn't matter. I firmly believe that. I trust in it. That's what I do. Let's rise up and bow to your spirit on this All Saints Day. Oh, and I wish you a safe Halloween when you're out trick-or-treating, everybody. Be safe out there, okay? Be safe out there. I'm going to dress up this year. I'm going to put on a Buccaneers jersey and go as a loser this year. So that was kind of harsh. Okay, fine. I'm going to dress up I'm going to put on my Vikings jersey and go as a football team that's never won a Super Bowl. How about that, huh? Good times. Let's
need to get a Vikings jersey.
Yeah. Let's sing our way out of here for peace, my friends. Let there be peace on earth, and let it.
Thank you.